Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will discuss some interview questions related to SQL for beginners. To kick off, before asking you interview technical questions, your interviewer may ask you some general questions about your overall experience with SQL. You can expect some questions what SQL flavors are you familiar with, and how can you estimate your level of proficiency in SQL, and for how long have you been working with SQL. While this information can be mentioned in your resume, be ready to talk about it. Naturally, there are no right answers to such questions. There is no need to make up things when answering them. So don't worry if your experience in SQL is limited. This is something your interviewer most probably already knows from your resume. Since they are interested in talking to you anyway, your profile was considered a good fit for their company. Also, it is perfectly fine if you have only worked with one SQL flavor. Remember that all SQL dialects fairly similar among themselves. Therefore, being familiar with only one of them is a solid basis for you to learn any others. SQL interview questions for beginners. Now let's move on to the technical SQL interview questions and some potential answers to them. So when answering to technical questions, the best strategy is to give as precise answers as possible. It may look like an attempt to deviate from the main topic, additional questions about which you can feel less confident. So first question is, what is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language, a programming language used for interaction with Relational Database Management System, RDBMS. This includes fetching, updating, inserting, and removing data from tables. Next one comes is, what are SQL dialects? Give some examples. The various versions of SQL, both free and paid, are also called SQL dialects. All the flavors of SQL have a very similar syntax and vary insignificantly only in additional functionality. Some examples are Microsoft SQL Server, PostgreSQL SQL Server, and MySQL, SQLite, and TSQL, and Oracle, and MongoDB. Now the next question is, what are the main applications of SQL? Using SQL, we can create, delete and update tables in a database, access, manipulate and modify data in a table, retrieve and summarize the necessary information from a table. Or we can add or remove certain rows or columns from a table. Now we talk about what is SQL statement. Give some examples. Also known as an SQL command. It's a string of characters interpreted by the SQL engine as a legal command and executed accordingly. Some examples of SQL statements are select, create, delete, drop, revoke. What are some types of SQL commands or SQL subsets do you know? So there are several SQL commands, and some of them are data definition language, that is called DDL. It is used to define and modify the structure of a database. Now comes the data manipulation language. It is used to access, manipulate and modify data in a database. And then here comes DCL, that is data control language. It is used to control user access to the data in a database and give or revoke privileges to a specific user or group of users. And then the next comes transaction control language, TCL. It is used to control transaction in a database. TCL is used to control transactions in a database. And then DQL, data query language, to perform queries on the data in a database to retrieve the necessary information from it. Next question is, give some examples of common SQL commands of each type. For example, we have discussed about the types of SQL commands, and then here we will give some examples. In DDL, we can use create or alter table or drop, truncate and add column. And for the data manipulation language, we can use update, delete and insert. For the data control language, we can use grant or revoke. And transaction control language, commit, set transaction or rollback and save point. For the DQL, that is data query language, we can DQL is used to fetch the data from the data. So we can use select for that. Now here comes the first question related to data. So what is database? A structured storage space where the data is kept in many tables and organized so that necessary information can be easily fetched and manipulated and summarized. So that is called database. What is DBMS and what types of DBMS do you know? It stands for Database Management System, a software package used to perform various operations on the data stored in a database, such as accessing or updating or wrangling, inserting, and removing the data. There are various types of data DBMS, such as relational, hierarchical, or network, or graph, or object oriented. These types are based on the way the data is organized or structured and stored in the system. Now, next one comes what is RDBMS and give some examples of RDBMS. It stands for Relational Database Management System. It is the most common type of database management system used for the working with data stored in multiple tables related to each other by means of a shared keys. The SQL programming language is particularly designed for to interact with RDBMS. Some examples of RDBMS are MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Oracle, MariaDB, etc. What are tables and fields in SQL? A table is an organized set of related data stored in a tabular form, that is, in rows and columns. A field is another term for a column of a table. Now, next question is what is an SQL query and what types of queries do you know? A query is a piece of code written in SQL to access the data from a database or to modify the data. Correspondingly, there are two types of SQL queries, select and action queries. The first ones are used to retrieve the necessary data. This also includes limiting and grouping and ordering the data or extracting the data from multiple tables, etc. While the second one is used to create, add, delete, update, or rename the data. Now, next question is what is subquery? Also called an inner query. A query placed inside another query or an outer query. A subquery may occur in the clauses such as select, from, where, update, etc. It is also possible to have a subquery inside another subquery. The innermost subquery is run first and its results are passed to the containing query or subquery. And what types of subqueries do you know? Single row returns at most one row. Multi-row, it may return at least two rows. And then comes multi-column. This may return at least two column. Correlated, a subquery related to the information from the outer query. And then comes the nested one, a subquery inside another subquery. And next question is, what is a constant and why use constants? A set of conditions defining the type of data that can be input into each column of a table. Constants ensure data integrity in a table and block undesired actions. What SQL constants do you know? There are several types of SQL constants and some of them are written below. Default. Default provides a value for column. Unique, it only allows one unique value. And not null allows only non-null values. Primary key allows only unique and strictly non-null value, that is not null and unique. And foreign key provides shared keys between two or more tables. Now, what is a join? Join is a clause used to combine and retrieve records from two or multiple tables. SQL tables can be joined based on the relationship between the columns of those tables. What types of joins do you know? Now, there are several types of joins. Some of them are like listed below. There are several types of joins in SQL. First one is inner join. It returns only those records that satisfy a defined join condition in both or all tables. It is a default SQL join. And then comes a left outer join that returns all records from the left table and those records from the right table that satisfy a defined join condition from the left table. And then comes the right outer join, returns all the records from the right table and those records from the left table that satisfy a defined join condition. And then now comes the full outer join. It returns all records from both tables or all tables. It can be also considered as a combination of left and right joins. Now next question is, what is primary key? A column or multiple columns of a table to which the primary key constant was imposed to ensure unique and non-null values in that column. In other words, primary key is a combination of the not null value and unique constants. The primary key uniquely identifies each record of the column. Each table should contain a primary key and cannot contain more than one primary key. Next question is, what is a unique key? A column or multiple columns of a table to which the unique constant was imposed to ensure unique values in that column, including a possible null value. The only one. And then next question is, what is a foreign key? A column or multiple columns of a table to which the foreign key constant was imposed to link this column to the primary key in another table or several tables. The purpose of foreign keys is to keep connection between various tables of a database. And then next question is, what is an index? A special data structure related to a database table and used for storing its important parts and enabling faster data search and retrieval. Indexes are especially efficient for larger databases where they significantly enhance query performances. Now comes the question, what type of indexes do you know? So there are several types of indexes, and so, first type of index is unique index. It does not allow duplicates in a table column and hence helps maintain data integrity. And next one is clustered index. It defines the physical order of records of a database table and performs data searching based on the key values. A table can only have one clustered index. Next one is non-clustered index. It keeps the order of the table records that doesn't match the physical order of the actual data on the disk. It also means that the data is stored in one place and a non-clustered index in another one. A table can have multiple non-clustered indexes. Next question is, what is a schema? A collection of database structural elements such as tables, stored procedures, indexes, functions, and triggers. It shows the overall database architecture. It specifies the relationship between various objects of a database. And it also defines different access permissions for them. What is a SQL comment? A human readable clarification on what a particular piece of code does. SQL comments can be single-lined, preceded by a double hash, or span over multiple lines as follows, and can be like mentioned by slash and then comment and then slash. When the SQL engine runs, it ignores this code. The purpose of adding SQL comments is to make the code more readable and comprehensive for those people who will read it in future. So next one is, what is SQL operator? A reserved character. What is a SQL operator? SQL operator is a reserved character, a combination of characters or a keyword used in SQL queries to perform a specific operation. SQL operators are commonly used with the where clause to set a condition or conditions for filtering the data. What types of SQL operators do you know? So there are several types of SQL operators. Some of them are like arithmetic. Arithmetic operators are like plus, minus, or multiplication, or division. And then there are comparison operators as well, that is less than, greater than, or equal to less than, or something like that. And there are compound operators as well, that is like plus equal to, or equal, or equal, or these these type of compound operators. And then there are logical operators like and, or, not, between. And there are string operators, that is like first one is percent, that is used for like or like underscore or plus for the concatenating, and then all that. And another one is set. It is used for union or union all or intersection and minus or except. So next question is, what is an alias? A temporary name given to a table or column in a table while executing a certain SQL query. Aliases are used to improve the code readability and make the code more compact. An alias is introduced with as keyword. As you can see in this query, like select column underscore I as column from table name. That here we are using as for defining an alias column. Now, what is a clause? A condition imposed on a SQL query to filter the data to obtain the desired result. Some examples are like where, limit, having, and like, and, or, order by, etc. Next question is, what are some common statements used with the select query? The most common statements for the select query are from, group by, join, where, order by, limit, and having. Now, interview in interview, panel may ask you to create a table. So we can do this by using the create table statement. For example, to create a table with 3 columns to of predefined data types, we can apply the following syntax. So for the creating a table, we can use this command create table and then table name, and in bracket we will define the first column name, and then define its data type, and then second column name, and then its data type, and then third column name, and then its data type. Now, for example, if interviewer asks you to update this table, then we can also update the table by uh, using the update command. Update table name set, and then set column 1 is equal to some value, and then column 2 value to some value where there is a condition. Now, how to delete a table from database? Using the drop table statement, we can drop the table or delete the table. The syntax can be used is drop table and then table name. Now, what if interviewer asks you to get the count of records in a table? To to find out the count of records in a table, we can just use the count operator. Like select count and then from table name, then that's it. Now, if interviewer asks you to sort records in a table, then using the order by statement, we can sort the records in a table. That is select star from table name and order by column name. This is the column name by which we want to sort the records. For example, we want to sort the records in decreasing order and by column 6 and column 1. So we can do this by writing this query: select star from table name and then order by column 1 DSC and column 3 and column 6 DSC. Now, for example, uh, we want to select all columns from a table. Using the star with select statement, we can select all the columns from the table. That is select star from some table name. Now, what if we have to select some common records from 2 tables? So we can do this by using the intersection of these 2 tables. That is select star from table 1 and intersect select star from table 1 or table 2, that is. Now, what is the distinct statement and how do you use it? This statement is used with the select statement to filter out duplicates and return only unique values from a column of a table. And the syntax is like select a distinct column from some table name. Now, what are entities? Give some examples. An entity is a real world object or creature, place, or a phenomenon for which the data can be gathered and stored in a database table. Each entity corresponds to a row in a table, while the table's column describe its properties. Some examples of entities are bank transactions, students in a school, cars, or some, etc. And the next one is what are relationships? Give some examples. Relationships are the connections and correlations between entities, basically meaning how two or more tables of a database are related to each other. For example, we can find an ID of the same client in a table on sales data and also in a customer table. So that is called a relationship. Now, last question in this video is what is null value and how is it different from zero or a blank space? A null value indicates the absence of a data from a for a certain cell of a table. Instead, zero is a valid numeric value, or and an empty string is legal string of zero length. So that was all about the beginners SQL interview questions. And in the next question, we will talk about intermediate SQL interview questions and their answers. And meanwhile, if you are watching this video, please do not forget to subscribe my channel. And I also have a blog that is related to data science portal. There are some amazing blogs and tutorials written over there. And there is also a separate section for the SQL that is named from beginner to advanced SQL tutorials. You can also check out there. Link will be given in description, and you can click on that link and then go to the blog. Thank you for watching, and yeah.